So New Zealand was recently, only last month, suffered a terrorist attack in Auckland, where a Sri Lankan asylum seeker stabbed innocent people in the shops after being radicalised. In fact, he made radicalised when he came to New Zealand. Obviously, something was put in his head, people brainwashed him in order to commit those attacks to a country which had given him refuge. Before that, we've seen obviously the more famous terrorist attack by the Australian neo-Nazi who attacked a mosque and shot innocent worshippers. Again, he read material that justified his actions and led him in that direction. Okay. Now, the thing is, where does it all start from? It starts from people poisoning other people's minds, vilifying communities, vilifying entire ethnic groups. Okay. Now, the thing is, this is what started New Zealand right now. In Massey University, Professor Dutta has vilified Hindus, has told New Zealand themselves, there's a report in New Zealand Herald about right-wing Hindu groups, right-wing Indian groups. They don't exist. Even the police said there's no issue. Yet it's misreported in New Zealand Herald and pushed by Massey University the whole time. So in areas where there was no Hinduphobia, no anti-Hindu hate, it started. This is how hate begins. This is how it arises. It doesn't come out of nowhere. And the thing is, after seeing those two terrorist attacks in New Zealand, a largely peaceful country, are we now going to see attacks against Hindus because of the fact the media is making hate against them based upon one professor who is spreading hate and lies and misinformation? The worst thing he's been threatened is attacks on Twitter. I'm not saying that's good. You know, people shouldn't be vilified, but attacks on Twitter happen all the time. Why is this one suddenly proof of right-wing Hindu groups? There's no proof at all. It's a myth. He's making it up. And it's important that the New Zealand government looks into this now, before we see another attack like in Auckland with Abu Salim, by the attack by Tarrant on that mosque in Christchurch. That's where they start from. They don't appear out of nowhere. So are we going to see attacks in New Zealand against Hindus because the New Zealand Herald and Massey University are pushing it?
Namaste. We, the British Hindus, are gathered here on this Sunday afternoon outside New Zealand House. Why New Zealand House, you might ask? We are gathered at New Zealand House because the Hinduphobia, which we British Hindus are accustomed combating in the United Kingdom, and American Hindus are accustomed combating in the United States of America, we are facing the same Hinduphobia in New Zealand. It's reared its malevolent head in the form of Professor Mohan Dutta, who is actually propagating Hinduphobic statements and ideas through the mainstream narrative. He has propagated it so successfully that the mainstream press in New Zealand and also in Australia have picked up this Hinduphobic narrative. This leaves the New Zealand and Australian Indian populations at great risk of personal harm and maligning in terms of their work, their employment, their educational opportunities. So we as British Hindus are here in front of New Zealand House to protest in most strongest terms, and we will certainly be taking this forward. This is just the beginning of our campaign. Thank you. Namaste.